the full story of two separate recoveries caused by many mistakes.
Chris got bogged by himself in remote country.
I managed to get myself into a bit of trouble.
4 blokes and 2 four-wheel drives came to his aid. But he was going nowhere. It took someone with the skills to recover this, the most extreme recovery I've ever seen. In this video, I'll show you both recoveries.
A week later we got to it. We had to pull it out by boat.
One of them extreme, the other full of mistakes.
Drag myself further into the bogging.
Major mistakes that most people are guilty of.
So big lesson for me.
But as always, I'll give you the information and the knowledge so you can make sure that this will never happen to you.
Went and put it straight on his toe ball.
Cruising out for the day, just going down the coast. Yeah, got myself stuck in a clay pan. And hard, and then all of a sudden, just a tiny little soft bit, enough to just suck me in. Game over. Bit of a rookie error really, because I should have known better. I couldn't get mobile phone range, and it was a really remote, quite a remote track, midweek as well, so there was just no one around. Completely just spinning. Got all the lockers on, but still, yeah, just not happening. Yeah, pretty terrible. Actually went into it thinking it wasn't that bad a bogging, but you know what salt lakes are like? That crust on top. In my head, I'm thinking, I have to go forward. Well, I just dragged myself further into the bogging. Yeah, once I was in there, I just wasn't getting out. It looked dry, it looked really dry, but under the surface, it was really wet.
Yeah, what'd it get you?
Get complacent, you know, thought I was pretty safe, and yeah. These things happen, and the other thing, I don't have any recovery boards. Yeah, I will be putting them on the roof as soon as I get home.
Well, tell us why you had no recovery gear.
Well, I was with somebody else, and then they nicked off. Tired, you know, just been filming for 3 days, solid. Just went about it the completely wrong way. And I actually had a headache, and I probably might have had a bit of sunstroke. I was bloody hot up there. Probably wasn't thinking straight.
Pretty much in the
Yeah, I was. 6 hours later, yeah, I wasn't going anywhere. But the one thing that did save me was Starling.
But at least Chris wasn't in this situation. Just a reminder, it's coming up very soon.
Biggest champion of the day is Starlink, actually. Just being able to call for help, so that really helped. It's nice to have that security, just having that. Otherwise, yeah. So I was pretty lucky that I actually could make contact.
And that's when you gave me a call.
Well, I got a little bit bogged.
Should we reenact the phone call?
Let's do it. Yeah, I'll call you.
Hello?
Ronny,
Hello, Chris.
how you going?
Good, mate. Aren't you in Shark Bay?
Yeah, I'm actually bogged in a salt lake. You wouldn't believe it.
In a salt lake.
Well,
Did you try and cross one?
I'm not. Well, yeah, no, yes, I did. I tried to.
Can you get any movement if you go forwards and backwards, you know, that kind of thing?
No. She's just sliding, It's so slippery. I've tried putting scrubs, branches under it, but nothing.
Okay, so you're sunk in already. What about your max tracks? Or are they sunk in as well?
Yeah, about that.
Yeah, so they're sunk in, are they?
I haven't got them with me.
Oh my God.
So I wasn't going anywhere. Actually, you were going to come up and recover me. I was getting desperate there for a while.
If you wait, you would have been waiting for 16 hours then.
Yeah, that's true.
And take photos of your surrounding, and I'll see what I can think of. Maybe send me a text of all the equipment you have with you, tools, your jack, anything that can get dirty.
I know I'll go in town as well. Maybe you can come and pick me up, I don't know, or give me a...
Well, I'll get thinking in the meantime, and good luck.
Makes things a little bit difficult. I tried to put some sticks under there, but no, it just wasn't getting any grip, so figured just stop.
How'd you go? Did you get my text?
Yeah, I did.
Did you try everything?
Yeah, it's gone down. The ship's going down.
The bloops has gone down.
Yeah, it's not good.
What about the guy in town?
Yeah, so I've called him. He's on his way out, but yeah, I don't know how long he's going to be.
We'll just wait. The legend.
Things are about to get a lot worse. Look at how many times they're trying to use this strap. And is this strap an actual snatch strap? Is it kinetic? Doesn't look like it. That strap's getting a lot of hard work. How'd you go, mate? Did you get out?
Nah, not yet.
Didn't the guy just come and help you?
Yeah, he did, but he's rocked up. He's got one strap, not a snatch. Went and put it straight on his toe ball. His toe ball.
You think it's throwing something out? You go straight to the toe ball. That's a big no-no. Why is that a no-no? Feel like carnage?
Yeah, crazy.
The speed I've estimated is by calculating with the frame rates. That's why it's estimated speed. I'm not a scientist or a mathematician. I'm just here to break stuff so you guys can see what happens.
I think when you're in that situation where you just want to get out.
But there's something you can do with the same structure of that without using the toe ball.
Don't use the toe ball. This is the best way to do it. And this is if you have no choice. You still have a pin. Use the pin.
That way you're not putting all the stress on the toe ball, which that could happen. In your situation, to get you out, because we find out how much it actually took to get you out, you're in snapping toe ball territory if people were like yanking the car.
Yeah, sure.
Plus, you don't want to be yanking the car in the box situation you're in because you're risking ripping stuff apart. A situation like this is quite embarrassing for most people, not having recovery gear and being aware of it and being stuck in this manner. But Chris was more than happy to share this, and so am I. I'm grateful of that. This can be learnt from. People can see what can happen in a situation like that, even though you know what you should have done, but you didn't have the gear with you. So how did Chris actually get recovered in the end? Things actually got worse before they got better. Another vehicle turns up who just happened to be passing by. So these blokes with good intentions of helping jumped out and they happened to have a few beers in their hands.
Yo, man.
What's up?
That was it. Chris called it. You have no recovery gear, you're in the middle of nowhere, you're desperate to get out. What should he have done? That's the exact question I asked him, high inside.
We all get in this situation, whether it's the tide coming in or, pressure. Like I didn't know this guy, he's rocked up, he wants to get out of there, so I'm not going to question his recovery technique, and often you don't. You're not thinking.
Yeah.
You just want to get out of there. You've been there for 6 hours or 4 hours or whatever. It's almost like you just wipe out all the safety stuff. It becomes a back thought, But the reality is, if that toe ball comes off, guess who's getting hit? It's me. Blokes rock up and they're on the piss, and it's it all sort of just happens really quickly. But in the back of your mind, you're going like, this is not good. At what point do you call it? I could see people getting in the way of the lines, and you got to take control because not everyone was thinking right. Just went, nah, it's not happening.
The way you got out in the end, which is this guy, Shark Bay Marine Recovery. He ended up bringing the truck out.
Tell us about the briefly, what happened? And well, you don't know, I know what happened, but how to go pulling it out?
Yeah, not a problem. We get a few people get sucked in by these salt lakes. It's not their fault. They don't realise that they're quite soft. They look good, but they just, down they go, and there's no coming out unless you want to come out via China. So we just use a big girl here to pull them out and get them home.
And how much ton was it pulling then?
I had 15,000 pound winch on it and it only just moved it.
Really?
It was dragging the truck backwards. So.
And why is that?
Just the suction from the salt lake. Once you break that suction, you're pretty well out, but generally the cars will tend to go down into the salt lake further before they come up and out, but you're quite lucky you're close to the edge.
What advice have you got for people who get stuck in mud like this?
The best thing to do if you see a wet area, generally drive through it, because left or right of the wet areas is all soft. Where it's wet, it's packed hard and the water can't get through it.
If you encounter a salt lake like this and you can see that all the traffic goes through there, do not, under any circumstances, try and go around, because if you do, I guarantee you will see evidence of people trying to go around and they've just been sinking. On the edge of this track, it's also soft, but if you go right in the middle, it's solid as a rock. That is the best spot. If you go too fast and your wheel clips the edge, you risk sliding sideways, and then you're going to end up off the track in trouble. Slow and steady wins the race, as always in most four-wheel driving.
And but Jed, whatever you do, don't drive on to the side of the road, stick right on the track that's already existing and you won't have any problems.
And if you do get stuck?
Call me. There's a lot of people in Denham that'll help you out.
He showed me one of the more $30,000 recovery, and it's an absolute...
Tell us about the worst scenario you've seen.
We got a job over at Dirk Island. These guys had hired out a Toyota Land Cruiser, went off the track and went up over the sand dunes and then ended up an area that was full of quicksand basically. It's really boggy in there. And the troop carrier just went down and down. About a week later, we got to it.
Our only access point due to the big winds is this little here.
We had to pull it out by boat, and our boat weighs 15 tonnes, and it was bringing it to a stop.
So we're going to roll it onto the roof.
So we had to put the rope through the roof, flip the Land Cruiser upside down, and drag it through all that sand and mud and water.
Now we can tow it.
Yeah, wrote the car off, but we got it out of there.
Oh, yeah, go on.
It was all the way over there, but now we're towing it through, and it's going over.
And that was $36,000 for that job, so we're quite happy.
That's serious money.
That recovery likely left you with a lot of questions. Here's some extra context as we break it down.
$30,000 recovery. Why would they want to spend more money? Why don't they just leave it there? You know, it's full of oil, fuel in it, plus it's in the national park. Like, you know, it needed to be removed. You can't just leave it there.
Now we can tow it.
Beautiful Shark Bay.
Cartok Island.
Exactly. The last thing you want is oil leaching from it, you know.
Yeah.
And it may not happen that day. It's going to happen in a year or two time. So, you know, when it starts rusting, it needed to be taken out.
I agree, 100%.
Yeah.
Well, it was interesting where it was. If you take the time and look at that footage,
Yeah.
you can see that where he's standing on the sand dune, you
Yeah.
can see the dry sand, you can see what's actually higher than the ocean level.
Yeah.
And you can see the tide line on the high bit. You can see
Yeah.
it's going up a
Going
bit.
up,
It's like
yeah,
a
yeah.
bit of an inlet in the
Yeah.
sand dunes.
Yeah.
And that troopy is below that.
Yeah.
So it would have actually been half underwater
Yeah.
eventually.
Yeah, yeah.
When the tide comes in.
Totally. King tide on a big tide?
Yeah.
Yeah, I reckon that would have been underwater.
Oh yeah, definitely.
yeah.
And then also if it's a king tide, you have that more extreme low. So it must have gone down at the wrong time.
Totally.
Because it would have been okay, but then there
Yeah.
would have been a pocket that's
Oh,
still
yeah.
soaked because that water is just underneath the
I
sand.
know.
It's like the salt lake.
God, look how
almost.
far they went down. It was just, I don't even know how they got that far in, to be honest. It's unbelievable, and that's why it made it unrecoverable.
It's basically quicksand.
Yeah, there was no way they were going to recover that with another vehicle. It had to be a boat.
Although Chris has learned a lot from this situation, I feel that I need to give him a good tutorial on recoveries. But there is one thing I can do for him that'll help him instantly. Now, I know you have two Max trucks. I gave my mates a call and because I wanted to stitch someone up with some recovery gear because they're driving around without recovery gear.
what I need.
And then so you make sure you actually mount them. Here's some mounting pins.
Wicked. Oh man, that's wicked. That's so cool.
Let me
Thanks,
guess,
man.
you're going to ask
Thanks,
me to
Max
mount them
Tracks.
before you go?
Yeah, if we can.
Yeah, we'll do that. That's why I got you
Yeah,
in
that's
here.
cool.
These are the extremes. You're not going to wear the pins off. But there's more. So I got you two different colours of the extremes.
Oh, sweet. Yeah, they're cool, man. Oh, they'll look wicked on this car. That's cool. They'll fit really well. I just needed that grip at the bar. I wasn't even that bolt. But if I had some of these, I reckon I would have reversed out.
If you had a winch.
Would have it pulled me out? I mean, I would have dragged the other car as well.
Well, you had two cars at one point, so that you could have done, but you would have had to do a double line,
yeah.
otherwise just burn the winch out.
Yeah, yeah. That's awesome. Thanks.
All right.
That's wicked. Stoked. They'll look great on the Troopy, I reckon. Good colours. Good choice.
I told you this will be your favourite segment.
Yeah, this is wicked. I'm excited.
Chris is going to feel like it's already Christmas.